camp, we have a theme that you dive into in the summer. These campers come to camp, they come to a location, and they're in a world that we have built for them to shine a light on the Bible, to shine a light on Jesus to them, and they get to really come in and explore that world. And the way that we do that at WinShape Camps is in our theme team.
Every year at camp, we have a different theme. The theme begins with a process of discernment, which is like, where is God leading us? You know, who's getting a prompting one way or another? Who has a burden that they are feeling for students that they want to share? Who has a verse or a passage or a scriptural truth that we feel like students need to hear, campers need to hear?
One of the things we really love as a theme team is to get a passage of scripture and break it apart and work through it instead of picking lots of random places throughout the Bible. Because I think so many kiddos that come to camp maybe don't go to church regularly, and that's what we've got to think about too. We can't introduce this really big theological concept to them that they're not going to understand if they've never been to church.
So it always begins with content before we go to creative, which is the way it should be, right? Because you don't want to like, hey, let's set camp in the jungle. Anybody know a good verse about the jungle? Maybe we can stick onto that. It always begins with the content, and then we find the world to set that in.
There's no bad idea, and my team knows that. We have parts along the way where that is definitely the case. We just throw out any idea, we write them all down. When you say no bad idea, people just throw out anything, and it really is a safe place to do that. And that's where you get the good stuff. That's where you get the really good things.
And once we've figured out our key truth and key scriptures, then we will begin in earnest to work on creative. There's a great many people who don't think of themselves as creative, and that is a shame. Because I believe that we're made in God's image, and if we go to Genesis, in the beginning, God created. I believe that means that there is a creative impulse inside each of us. It's a little gift that God has given us, like a fountain, a naturally occurring fountain of creativity that we spend much of our lives rolling a rock over and blocking up that fountain. And so when everybody brings their gifts together, and we don't all have to be star players, we can reach places that we would never reach alone. And a lot of the creative process is just allowing space to do just that, creating a safe space where people can bring their gifts, and we can see what it adds up to together.
To walk onto camp and see the world that was just on a piece of paper, especially for me as a mom, my kiddos get to come to camp. So it's really amazing to see it come to life and for us to be able to share this with campers and for it to stick with them.
At the end of the day, we want to transform campers and families' lives with the message of Jesus Christ. And the delivery method that we use for that is to create these worlds at camp.